The Dream was my favorite because personal reasons. And the reason was he was a guy that I couldn't break.
Ask Michael Jordan what one guy he ever feared. It was Hakeem Olajuwon. He used to call and say, I'm scared of the big African.
Couldn't nobody do nothing with Shaq. Nothing. It won't even close.
One of the most dominant forces I ever seen. Speed, quickness. If Shaq didn't like you, like he didn't like a few of the centers in the league, he would make it his personal vendetta to destroy you.
Hakeem versus Shaq heading into the '95 finals was as hyped up as any NBA finals in recent memory. Maybe even more than the Hakeem versus Ewing matchup the year prior. Hakeem versus Ewing had its own storyline with their rivalry dating back to their college days, but this matchup I would say had a little bit more anticipation to it. The experienced champion versus the freak of nature.
Two legendary centers going at it head-to-head in this best-of-7 NBA Finals.
Before we get into how the series played out between these two teams, the Rockets and the Magic both faced some adversity on their road to the NBA Finals. I want to first go over how both teams got to the 1995 NBA Finals.
Nowadays, we look at it as if you win a championship 1 year, it's no good. You got to win it 2 years in a row. You got to go back. You got to show everybody that that 1 year wasn't a fluke.
Houston, the Eagle has landed. Your team is on top of the basketball world.
The only way you're going to get respect if you win, and we got just gutty guys with a lot of heart and a lot of pride, and we wanted even more this year than last year. And I think if we win it this year, they got to give us respect.
Heading into the '95 playoffs, if you had to predict who would win the West that year, I don't think too many experts would have picked Houston after the regular season they had. At the start of the '94-95 season, the defending champion Houston Rockets would start the season strong, winning its first 9 games of the regular season.
Robert Horry, Olajuwon with one move one way and one the other. If the left one don't get you, then the right one will. Here you go. Behind the back, 4-on-1, Cassell to OP for 2.
After a good start to the season though, reality was set in. Being the defending world champions, you're getting each opponent's best effort. You're the measuring stick. When you come to town, teams use you to see how they measure up to the best competition the league has to offer and how far away they are from being the best.
First of all, people were aiming at us, and we had kind of a bullseye on our chest going into the games, and I thought we got the opposing team's best effort.
Long inbounds.
You aren't going to sneak up on these teams. When you come to town, you're getting their best, and that could wear you down over the course of a season, and that's exactly what it did to Houston.
Look at the scoreboard, 25-8.
Despite being hesitant to overreact and make changes to the roster, eventually, Houston came to the realization that this team, as currently constructed, was not going to win back-to-back NBA championships. I think they came to that realization after Vernon Maxwell would go into the stands in Portland and punch a fan after the fan said some racial slurs at him. Understandable for him to be upset, but obviously you can't lose your composure like that. Those actions will earn him a 10-game suspension, the second longest in NBA history at the time, a $20,000 fine, the highest in NBA history at the time, and ultimately a reduced role on the team when he came back from suspension. That reduced role honestly might have came anyways after what the Rockets did at the trade deadline. On February 14th, right before the trade deadline, they ended up moving Otis Thorpe and draft picks to Portland for Clyde Drexler, Hakeem's college teammate at Houston. Clyde, who had spent his entire career with the Portland franchise, was nearing the end of his prime, and he was still in search of his first NBA championship. Portland's championship window with his current core was shut, and they were a middling team needing to go into a rebuild, but they were reluctant to do so since they were so close to winning a championship both in '90 and '92. However, their time had passed, they were far from contenders, and Clyde knew it. He privately requested management to trade him to a championship contender so he can compete for an NBA championship, and Portland honored his request. Clyde was beloved in the Houston area for his time with the Houston Cougars, so he was welcomed to the team with open arms by the fans, but the team chemistry would take a little while to gel.
They're looking for Clyde. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. Drexler wins it. There it is. Drexler wins it. There it is. Drexler on the run. Drexler. That's why he's one of the greats of the game. Oh, the fun is back.
Shortly after Clyde's spectacular arrival, Puck Hakeem would succumb to injury, and the Rockets would be unable to shake the dark cloud that seemed to have been following them.
They would end the season 15-18 after bringing Drexler in from the Blazers and would finish the year 47-35, giving them the 6th best record in the Western Conference, the worst seeding for a defending champion in NBA history. They were honestly looked at as underdogs when the playoffs came around, and a lot of experts at the time picked Utah to beat the Rockets in the first round. The Rockets would lose Game 1 of the series, and after losing Game 1, they would lose Vernon Maxwell for the rest of the playoffs. Not because of an injury, nah, he was healthy. He actually missed the game-winning shot for Game 1 of the Rockets, which, on a side note, I'm going to get back to why the Rockets lost Vernon Maxwell for the rest of the playoffs. But real quick, he missed the shot probably because he wasn't in a good rhythm. He only played 16 minutes that game. Hakeem Olajuwon, arguably one of the best players on the planet at that time, had 45 points that game. Why didn't the ball go to him? Vernon Maxwell ended the game 1 for 7 from the field.
We get to the playoffs, Rudy T literally did not play me, but probably about a minute. It gets to the last minute of the game. Max, come on, man. Come on, babe. Come on, Max. Hey, man, we finna draw up this motherfucking play for Max, man. And Max, I want you to go on and do what you do.
Whatever, 90s basketball logic, I guess. I don't know, man. But anyways, the reason they would lose Vernon for the rest of the playoffs is because, well, after Game 1, he left the team. He hopped on a plane and he flew home. He was fed up with his reduced role ever since the Drexler trade. He'd been coming off the bench and he just couldn't take it.
Well, Bud covered it to take my minutes and didn't even talk to me about it, though. I felt like that was fucked up after all I had done with the Rockets.
On the team.
Yeah, been there 9 years and shit. They just didn't talk to me about bringing Clyde in. Through my suspension, I mean, nobody ain't called my mother.
No heads up.
And I had to get through that myself, man. And then that's how I got fucked up. I did a lot of fucked up shit, going back to it. I walked away from the team and shit, and I shouldn't have did that dumb shit.
That would be the last game Vernon Maxwell would ever play as a Rocket. And later, he would say this decision was the worst decision he ever made in his life. The Rockets would rally for an emotional team winning Game 2, likely motivated by their teammate quitting on them in Game 1. But that motivation wouldn't help them in Game 3 because back home at the Summit, they would fall to the Jazz by double digits. The Rockets were down 2-1 facing elimination in Game 4. How would the Rockets respond facing elimination? Their two stars, Drexler and Hakeem, would explode for 41 and 40 apiece, setting up an all-or-nothing Game 5 at the Delta Center, where the Rockets would prevail thanks to Hakeem and Drexler having 33 and 31 points respectively, being the only two Rocket players to score in double digits in Game 5, putting the team on their backs, willing them to round 2. They would match up in round 2 with a familiar foe, Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns.
Tonight, it's almost a replay of a year ago when these two teams met in the Western Conference semifinals. As everybody knows, Houston won in 7 games and went on to win the NBA championship.
Phoenix had the Rockets on the ropes last year after 2 huge comeback victories in Houston's house. They came up short to them in Game 7, but this year, the Suns will hold the home court advantage and will run Houston out of the gym in both Game 1 and Game 2, with the score not even being close.
He's going to take it all the way in for a Thunder Dan. Wham, bam, slam.
Game 3, the Rockets would respond with a blowout of their own, but in Game 4, the Suns would beat the Rockets in their building behind KJ's 43 points. The Rockets are now down 3-1, heading back to Phoenix, facing elimination once again.
There's no way. I mean, Houston's a great city, but we don't plan on coming back. We're in good shape. We're in great shape. And now we just got to finish them off.
The Rockets would bounce back in Game 5 behind Hakeem's 31 points, and in Game 6 they would earn a double-digit victory at home, forcing a Game 7 for the second straight season between these two teams.
We're on the drive, lays it up for 2. The Rockets are tough. I'll tell you, they don't die. We're going to go back to the desert.
This time, like I said earlier, the Suns would have the home court advantage, and it would make a difference in the first half. The Suns would have a double-digit lead heading into halftime, but by the time we got towards the end of the game, the score was tied at 110 apiece. The Rockets had possession, and this happened.
Ellie out of the corner for 3, hit it! Mario Ellie with a 3 with 7.1 seconds to play.
Mario Ellie hit a clutch 3-point shot after a beautiful find from Robert Ory. This shot is famously remembered as the kiss of death, one of the clutchest shots in NBA history. The Rockets now had a 3-point lead and decided to not even give Phoenix a chance to tie, opting to play the free throw game instead. Eventually, the Rockets would end up winning Game 7 in Phoenix, coming back from a 3-1 deficit, being just the 5th team ever in NBA history at that time to accomplish that. This would set up a Western Conference Finals matchup against David Robinson and the number 1 seed undefeated San Antonio Spurs. Robinson had a sensational 1995 regular season, winning the MVP award and being named to the All-Defense First Team. This was a highly anticipated matchup. Robinson and Olajuwon were thought to be the two best bigs in the Western Conference, and them meeting up in the Western Conference Finals really raised the stakes to a whole nother level.
So how challenged were you in that conference final against Olajuwon?
Yeah, I was pretty challenged. Olajuwon was playing really, really well at that time.
Shouldn't have ever given that award out before the series started.
The Rockets would win the first two games in San Antonio, but the Spurs would respond by winning two straight themselves when the series moved to Houston, setting up a very interesting Game 5. No home team had won a game in the series so far, and that pattern would continue after Game 5, with the Rockets winning another game in San Antonio behind 42 points from Hakeem. After the Game 5 win, Hakeem had scored 40-plus points in 3 out of the 5 games that series. He was just on fire. There was literally nothing the Spurs could do with him. They were helpless defending him. Hakeem would nearly have another 40-point game in Game 6, scoring 39 points and grabbing 17 rebounds in the closeout game.
And it's hard to believe that a player could play that well under that kind of pressure, playing against the MVP of the league. It just made you just kind of look at him in awe.
For the series, Hakeem would average 35 points, 12.5 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks, and a steal per game. He literally did everything for the Rockets in this series, one of the most dominant stretches of games any player has ever played in. Robinson didn't even play bad necessarily. He averaged nearly 24 points and 11 rebounds for the series, along with 2 blocks a game. Despite Robinson's solid numbers, there was a clear gap between him and Hakeem in these conference finals. Hakeem without a doubt outplayed Robinson in these finals and earned himself a chance to cement his legacy as one of the greatest big men that ever played this game. Now, as for the Magic's road to the finals, a franchise that hadn't even been in existence for a decade, the Orlando Magic would make its debut in the NBA during the 89-90 season and would be awful for a few years, which was expected. Nobody was surprised that this Magic team wasn't very good to start. But what the fans didn't expect to happen was the Magic winning the NBA draft lottery in back-to-back seasons.
The first pick in the 1993 NBA draft goes to the Orlando Magic. This is in the category of go figure. The number 1 pick last year was Shaquille O'Neal. This year, 1 ball out of 66 in the hopper, and they get the number 1 pick.
With these number 1 overall draft picks, they would use them to create the most devastating inside-outside threat in the NBA at the time. They would draft Shaquille O'Neal and would trade for Anthony Penny Hardaway.
Orlando has traded the draft rights to Chris Webber to Golden State in exchange for the draft rights to Anthony Hardaway and 3 future first-round draft picks.
Both players were unstoppable in their respective positions and complemented each other's games perfectly.
Shaq double-teamed out the pennant. 3-point shot is good! Is that a big shot by the rookie or what?
The Magic would also make a huge splash in free agency during the summer of '94, bringing in Horace Grant from the Chicago Bulls to play alongside the young O'Neal in the front court. Horace brought a grittiness to the Magic that they were missing, along with championship experience, winning 3 rings in Chicago with Jordan. This team had been building towards something, being a fun young team to watch. Players like Dennis Scott and Nick Anderson were really coming into their own, getting better every year. But after bringing in Horace over the summer, this team really started to click and will win a lot of games this year.
Jumper by Brent. He got it. 2 seconds, 1 second. Penny for 3 again. Got it again.
Orlando would win 22 of their first 27 games in the regular season, and by the All-Star break, they would be sitting at 37-10. They would also go the entire year almost never losing at home with a 39-2 record at the Orlando Arena, and would finish with the best record in the Eastern Conference, finishing 57-25. Despite all the success this team was having, they were still looked at as a young team, and many experts at the time were not sure if this team was a real contender. Teams like the Knicks, the Pacers, and the Bulls, who by this time had brought back MJ, had a lot more playoff experience than this Orlando team had. This would only be the second time in this brief franchise's history that Orlando has made the playoffs. How are they going to beat any of those teams who have been in wars year after year? Well, in their first playoff game against the 8-seeded Celtics, Orlando will make a statement to those who doubted if they were real contenders, winning that game by a staggering 47 points.
Watch it again. Comes behind the back. Behind the back again. Lay it up on the right way.
The rest of the games, however, would not play out like Game 1. The Celtics would actually bounce back and win Game 2 in Orlando.
They lost by 47 on Friday night.
but they come back to become only the third team to win in the O Arena this season. Boston Celtics tie the series at 1 win apiece by defeating the Orlando Magic 99-92. Orlando had only one field goal the last 5 minutes, 26 seconds.
The Magic would take care of business in games 3 and 4, but the games were still tightly contested matchups. Experts still weren't sold that this team had what it took to make a legitimate run at the championship, and in the next round, they would be matched up against MJ and the Chicago Bulls. Nobody was expecting this young Magic team to beat Chicago in the second round. This was MJ. Nobody beat MJ. Were these Bulls at full strength? No. They only had 17 regular season games to bring Jordan back into the mix. There was no doubt in the adjustment period for both MJ and his teammates. At the same time though, the Magic did beat them, and you have to give them credit. The moment wasn't too big for them. They weren't intimidated with who they were playing. They went out there and they beat the Bulls. Penny Hardaway matched the production of Scottie Pippen, who was looked at as one of the best players in the NBA at that time. Shaq dominated the inside the entire series, as he should have, since the Bulls really didn't have anyone on the roster that could match up with the big fella. And the others played their roles and did their job. Nick Anderson shot over 40% from 3 for the series, and Horace Grant, who was definitely motivated going up against his old team and MJ, did his thing, averaging 18 points and 11 rebounds for the series. This young Magic team wasn't just happy to be here and looking to gain playoff experience. Nah, this team wanted to win it all right now. There was only one team standing in their way of an NBA Finals appearance: Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers, a squad that swept them out of last year's playoffs in the first round. I feel like this Eastern Conference Finals is a little bit overlooked as time has gone by. Fans remember the Chicago series, but forgot how tightly contested this Eastern Conference Finals was. Well, at least in the beginning. The Magic would take the first 2 games of the series at home. The Pacers had no answers for a young Shaq down low, who averaged over 35 points and 10 rebounds through the first 2 games.
Shaquille with 32 points, 10 rebounds, will help the Magic to a 10-point lead with 3:04 left in the game.
Not only was Shaq killing the Pacers inside, but Penny, Nick, and Dennis would kill the Pacers from the perimeter as well, hitting threes from all over the place.
Gets on Grant, they go right into him. Hardaway from the arc, carries it, his third three-pointer of the ball game.
Reggie summed up the dilemma the Pacers faced perfectly after Game 2. We've got to take away one or the other, inside or outside. They can't have both. When the series shifted to Indiana, the momentum of the series would shift as well, with the Pacers protecting their home court in both Game 3 and Game 4. A big reason why they were able to win those games at home though was because Shaq was facing foul trouble in both games, only playing a total of 30 minutes in both matchups. Shaq would actually foul out in Game 4, along with Horace Grant. Despite the 2 bigs fouling out in Game 4, the Magic still nearly pulled out the win.
Yes! With 1 3/10 seconds to go! Anthony Hardaway hits the 3!
But this heroic Rit Smith's game winner would tie the series up at 2-2.
Here it is, Smith with the catch and the shot!
In Game 5, in another matchup that would go down to the final seconds, the Magic would prevail with a 2-point win led by Shaq's 35 points and 13 rebounds. The first 5 games in this series would be decided by 5 points or less, and the home team would win each time. The Pacers would face elimination at home in Game 6, and this game would be decided by more than just 5 points. It would actually turn into a 27-point beatdown, setting up an all-or-nothing Game 7 in Orlando, with the winner moving on to the NBA Finals. In that Game 7, the Magic would win decisively, outscoring the Pacers in all 4 quarters, sending them to their first ever NBA Finals in their franchise's history.
We beat Michael Jordan, the greatest player ever.
Yes.
So I already thought the job was done. And then we had 10 days off And living in Orlando, you go in the restaurants, it's standing ovations, and, you know, you're getting extra deals, and it's the parades. And, you know, me and one of my other teammates were jumping on private planes. We're going to Miami and party. And, you know, because I like to get ready 3 days before, but you got 10 days off. I couldn't be like this for 10 days. So I'm like, you know what? Let me take a couple of days off. We're definitely going to win. I'm playing against Akeem. We won one. We won one. He's the same size. We're definitely going to win. But he taught me never to celebrate too early. So when we played in the finals, I didn't see that Akeem. And they had just won the year before, so they were going for a back-to-back, and he just fucking taught me a lesson.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Game 1 of the NBA Finals from the Orlando Arena. It is the Magic against the Houston Rockets.
Right now, I am so calm until we start the game. Then we get excited. Let's go to the world. You know, let's go to the world. 1, 2, 3, rock.
Okay, so the series opener in Orlando turned into an all-time classic. Easily my favorite game I've watched so far while going back through these old final series. This game heavily resembled modern-day basketball. Lots of threes, lots of points, and a whole lot of drama. This young, inexperienced Magic team came out on fire in front of their home crowd.
Possible in the low post. Stops the
Shaq would get into foul trouble early, but it honestly didn't even matter. The Magic early on were rolling. Orlando was crashing the offensive glass all game long and got nearly every second chance they wanted. Horace and Shaq would both finish the game with 16 rebounds, and the Magic as a team would out-rebound the Rockets for the game 57-41. Shaq used his strength and bullied Akeem Olajuwon inside early on, and as one observer noted, Olajuwon won the scoring battle but lost a rebound fight big time. By halftime, Orlando had built a comfortable lead, and at one point the lead got up to 20 points. But Houston refused to fold. Late in the second quarter, Clyde willed the Rockets back into the game, scoring Houston's final 7 points of the half, cutting Orlando's cushion to 61-50 heading into halftime.
Retraction by Horry. Drexler is fouled. So the Rockets with a late rally here at the end of the second quarter.
Then in the third quarter, the Rockets really started to turn things around. Kenny Smith would catch fire, drilling 5 3-pointers in the quarter on an astonishing 5 of 6 shooting from beyond the arc.
In Orlando, the Magic leading by as many as 20. Kenny Smith continues to hit from downtown. That's his 5th.
Houston made 7 of its 11 threes in the third quarter, turning the tables completely. By the end of the period, the Rockets had taken the lead, with the score being 87-80. It was a 17-point swing from halftime, and Houston led by as many as 9 after Smith's flurry. Orlando wouldn't go away though. They kept fighting, and Orlando would eventually take a 110-107 lead in the waning seconds. Then came one of the most infamous stretches in NBA history. A lot of you guys are probably familiar with it, but I'm gonna still break it down for you. The Magic, up 3, had possession in the later stages of the fourth quarter. They would grab 3 offensive rebounds on this one possession. Eventually, the Rockets had no choice but to intentionally foul Nick Anderson. In order to extend the game, Nick Anderson wasn't the best free throw shooter, but he shot over 70% for the year. And he's had a pretty good game so far up to this point. He has 22 points. Nick Anderson had a chance to put the game away. All he had to do was hit 1 free throw.
He couldn't handle it, but the Rockets have hurt themselves on both boards. Nick Anderson making his first appearance at the line.
Anderson missed both free throws, but somehow he would grab his own offensive rebound and got fouled again.
Well, we're not a good rebounding team anyway. They're going to do it by committee. And another miss by Nick Anderson.
He would go back to the line and miss 2 more free throws. 4 straight misses from the line. Houston would grab the board and call a timeout with a chance to tie the game, and this is what would happen coming out of the timeout.
Ellie throws in for Smith, looking for the 3. He's been on fire and hits. He's tied the game at 110 with 1 6/10 seconds remaining.
Kenny Smith would get the ball, pump fake, getting Penny out of position, and would rise up and knock down a game-tying 3 with a little over a second left in the game. His 7th 3-pointer of the game. Dennis Scott had a chance to win it, but Robert Horry would block his shot attempt, forcing overtime between these two teams. The drama would continue during the overtime period, though. In OT, Robert Horry would nail 2 clutch 3-pointers that helped push the Houston lead to 3 with under 3 minutes left. The Magic kept fighting though. Penny Hardaway would score on a fast break to cut the deficit to 1. Olajuwon would respond to the bucket from Penny, scoring on a jump hook in the post, pushing the Rocket lead back up to 3 with a minute 30 left in the game. Horry had a chance to put the game out of reach, but he missed his 3-point attempt, giving the Magic one last chance to tie this game up.
Again, Scott, this time able to inbound, comes back to Scott for 3.
Dennis Scott would hit this huge 3-pointer to tie the game up at 118 with 5 seconds left. The Rockets still had the chance to win the game with a bucket on the next possession, and this is how that next possession for the Rockets would play out.
Drexler puts the ball on Anderson. Finger roll, the tip by Olajuwon. The Rockets lead 0.3 of a second remaining.
Hakeem would tip in a missed Drexler layup attempt to give the Rockets a 2-point lead with less than a second remaining in the game. The Orlando crowd was stunned. The Rockets had come into their building and stole Game 1 and home court, leading the series 1-0. Houston stars all chipped in. Hakeem Olajuwon led the way with 31 points and 4 blocks. Clyde Drexler added 23 points. Kenny Smith finished with 23 points himself while hitting 7 3-pointers, breaking the final single-game record set by Jordan in '92. Robert Horry scored 19 points, including 2 clutch 3-pointers in OT, and Mario Elliott had 18 points. Shaq would finish the game with 26 points, 16 rebounds, and 9 assists, nearly notching a triple-double in his first ever NBA Finals game. Penny would match his production with 26 points himself. This game was very high scoring. Every player in the starting lineup from both teams scored in double digits in points. Riding high on the emotional win after Game 1, Houston opened Game 2 on a tear. The Rockets quickly built a lead, forcing Orlando to call an early timeout after falling behind by double digits. By the end of the first quarter, Houston led 28-19. Houston kept up the pressure in the second quarter. The Rockets' shooting remained efficient while Orlando continued to struggle offensively. Sam Cassell will play a pivotal role in this game for the Rockets. Cassell had played just 11 minutes in Game 1, but in Game 2, he got to the free throw line early and got into a good rhythm. Sam Cassell would play a pivotal role in this game for the Rockets. Cassell had played just 11 minutes in Game 1, but in Game 2, he got to the free throw line early and got into a good rhythm. Cassell drilled several key jumpers, including a pair of 3-pointers in the second quarter, helping Houston build a commanding lead. Meanwhile, Orlando's offense was flat. Shaq had been struggling for most of the first half. There was a stretch where he actually went 14 minutes without scoring. The Magic starters were unable to hit many shots or find any ball movement.